everybody, and welcome to the end of year concert of Kids Club and the Junior Youth of Armadale and Byford. Now is the time, I will be your MC for this morning's program, and my name is Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Now is the time to turn off your phones or put them on silent so we can all enjoy the show without any disturbances. While that's happening, on behalf of the Baha'i Armadale, I respectfully acknowledge the past and present traditional owners of this land on which we are meeting, the Noongar people. Now, about the show. This dramatization in narrative and song is tribute to Hyde and Clara Dunn, two elderly Baha'is from the Americas who left their home and traveled to Australia to bring a message of peace and unity from the Baha'i writings. The date is 10th of April 1920. So we are celebrating the centenary of their arrival in Australia. Now picture this. A couple of Baha'is arrived in remote Australia in answer to Abdu'l-Baha's call to spread out to the four corners of the earth. Their mission, to take Baha'u'llah's message of peace and unity after the devastation of First World War I in conservative Australia in the 1920s was not the multicultural, multi-religious country of today. Most citizens looked to England as their mother country and almost exclusively worshipped in the Christian churches. So while folks were happy to meet the loving Dunns and hear the message of peace, they were reluctant to embrace that anything that was taught that the earth was one country and all religions came from one God. But the Dunns persevered, and today we have a diverse Baha'i community, a microcosm of the diverse land we live in. It would not be hard to imagine the seed sown by this determined couple as playing its part in making Australia the accepting multi-faceted country of it today. Our kids and youth have been practicing all term, and they're dying to start their performance. Sit back, enjoy, show your appreciation in wild cheers and claps, and let the show begin.
The First World War had just ended. It had wreaked havoc, death, and destruction such as the world had never seen, leaving a sense of unimaginable hopelessness and loss.
This is terrible. So many of our loved ones were killed and injured.
Our young men went as soldiers, killed on a battlefield. I hope we'll never see such suffering again.
The futility of war is depicted by this song. It was composed after the Second World War, but the sentiment is the same. humanity picked itself up, dazed and confused, without a guiding compass to point the way. Abdu'l-Baha's message of hope is received by the Baha'is of North America. This message of hope came in the form of letters called the Tablets of the Divine Plan. In these letters, Abdu'l-Baha urges the Baha'is to take their faith with its teachings of love and peace and its promise for a better world to all the corners of the earth.
Our story begins with a conversation over a cup of tea in Santa Cruz, California in 1919. An elderly couple, Hyde and Clara Dunn, received a letter from Abdu'l-Baha. Affectionately, they called each other Mother and Father Dunn.
Oh, that I could travel, even though on foot and in the utmost poverty, to these regions, and, raising the call of Ya Baha'u'llah in cities, villages, mountains, deserts, and oceans, promote the divine teachings. This, alas, I cannot do. How intensely I deplore it. Please, God, ye may achieve it.
As Clara Dunn read the words of Abdu'l-Baha to her husband, their lives changed forever that afternoon. These two elderly Baha'is from America packed their suitcases, uprooted their lives, and moved to Australia. Abdu'l-Baha said that their actions would throw a mighty reverberation through the pillars of the earth. And so it came to be that by their actions, their decision, the course of history of Australia, and indeed the whole world was changed.
It was so simple. I'm Father Dunn. Reading these words, the deed was done. We ever had just one desire, to serve our cause with hearts of fire. Shall we go? Mother Z. Yes, my immediate reply. Though old in years, our hearts were young. We longed to serve in lands far flung. Australia, we heard your call. Island, country, continent, well all. Australia, here we come.
Now listen to the Master's yearning. All thought of comfort is he spurning.
The candle, how it gives its light, it weeps its life away, drop by drop to give its flame. You must die to the world and so be born again and enter to the of heaven. Look at me, follow me, be as I am, Abdu'l-Baha, firm, be steadfast as a rock, that no earthly storm can move. And as you have faith, so shall your powers be, and know that till the end I'm always with you. Look at me, follow me, be as I am, Abdul Baha, Abdul Baha. Love mankind, follow me, be as I am, Abdul Baha, Abdul Baha. I long to travel the world in utmost poverty, and cry out, Ya Baha, God willing, you may do this for me. Teach mankind, follow me, be as I am, Abdul Baha, Abdul Baha. Serve the Lord, follow me, be as I am, Abdul Baha, Abdul Baha. Look at me, follow me, be as I am, Abdul Baha, Abdul Baha.
The Dunn arrived in Sydney on the 10th of April 1920. Consider this. A couple in their senior years lived a comfortable life behind to travel across the globe to the then little-known country of Australia. Hyde Dunn's job as a traveling national salesman miraculously allowed him and Clara to visit every state in Australia. Remember, the task was to bring the healing message of Baha'i to the people of Australia.
What were the thoughts that coursed through their minds as they took on this mighty task? Surely it was to trust in the love and support of God.
Look at us, Mother. We are old in a new country. How do we even know people will want to hear our message?
We are weak and unworthy, but we love our Lord, and that will give us strength. We need to believe in help from above, and all will be right. It's just as the song says, remember? hair. Immaculate, you know. His smile of sweetness, heaven sent, filled hearts with rare delight. His manner, always gently meant, shone joy and radiant light.
She dressed, they say, quite regally, which matched her pretty soul. She touched hearts most ethereally, her love could make you whole. God's presence luminous in her face, his power of force benign. Her hands were blessed with healing grace, her massages were divine.
Duns attracted souls everywhere they went throughout Australia. They reflected a wonderful light that people recognized as something spiritual, heavenly. Alone and unknown, with no material prestige whatsoever, they raised the call of a new day in all the capital cities of Australia and in Auckland, New Zealand. Duns attracted souls everywhere they went throughout Australia. They reflected a wonderful light that people recognized as something spiritual, heavenly. Alone and unknown, with no material prestige whatsoever, they raised the call of a new day in all the capital cities of Australia and in Auckland, New Zealand.
Sharing these beautiful teachings. We feel a sense of hope and peace now. Come back and visit us. There are so many people who are listening to hear this music. In just 3 years, they had visited 225 towns across Australia. In a mere 14 years, they had raised up in our country, which had not one single Baha'i, at least 3 local spiritual assemblies. And a national spiritual assembly was formed, showing how stable the Baha'i faith had become in such a short time. So successful were they at attracting souls that when someone asked Shoghi Effendi what was the best way to teach the faith, he replied that they should follow the Duns and do what they did, perhaps instinctively acknowledging their nurturing roles, Australian Baha'is refer to them loving as Mother and Father Dunn.
Hyde and Clara, father and mother, antipodian, parents like no other. They enfolded all people in loving embrace, teaching their faith with sweet tender grace. Together they were an unbeatable pair. They had about them a spiritual flair, mother attracting with ineffable sweetness, father confirming with logic meekness. Both of them served with love and compassion, seekers flocked to him, for they spoke with true passion.
Well, what did they teach? Let's draw in closer and listen in, shall we?
The wonderful news we share is Baha'u'llah's message. He taught us that God has not left humanity alone. Do you remember all the messengers of God? Krishna, Buddha, Zoroaster, Abraham, Moses, Christ, Muhammad, and the Bab? Well, God has sent us, Baha'u'llah, with new teachings for our global world.
Yes, his teachings are all about unity. There's only one God, and we are all children of that one God. We love and respect all messengers of God. He has brought us a plan so we can work together to make a new world.
The message of hope quenched the thirst of those with parched lips, who are so weary of the war that just ended, and longing for an understanding that there is, in fact, a way forward for humanity. People were drawn to the kindly way the Dunns lived their lives, striving that their actions would be beautiful praise. Although people were attracted to the radiant love shown by the Dunns, and to teachings about peace, Australia was, back then, a very conservative country, and it was so difficult to accept such a new way of thinking, so people were naturally slow to draw.
You mean all religions come from one God? That's impossible.
And I can never accept that all races are one. It's obvious that some of us have better brains than others.
Men and women, I would love to believe that, but how can I get my husband to accept me as equal? What you say is all very fine, but we're happy just the way we are, thank you.
In fact, some attended the meetings just to disrupt them. One of the people who went to the meetings to disrupt them was Mr. Oswald Whittaker. He planned to debate with Wagner to prove, in fact, the Baha'i faith was not true. In a faith-laden meeting in 1922, he stood up and asked in a rather arrogant way,
"So, since you know all about everything, can your Baha'i faith tell me what love is?"
Why, yes, sir. Love is the power that holds the universe together. The law of the great universe is love in action.
Is that what love is? Perhaps I should find out more about this religion.
Mr. Oswald Whittaker took home some books and writings about Abdu'l-Baha. He read them throughout the night. The next day he returned to the home of the Dunns.
Thank you. I need no further proof. I am a Baha'i.
So, what is love? I challenged Dunn, certain that when he did reply, it would not satisfy. A perplexing question, you know that one. Dunn answered me with face so bright. Love is a law, a powerful motion. It sets the universe into motion. Why, yes, I thought, that is so right. I read all night, then raised a cry. These words are true. I am a Baha'i.
And this is how the very first believer came to accept the Baha'i teachings. He remained firm and steadfast, and so there were many local spiritual assemblies, as well as the first National Spiritual Assembly as well.
Do you see the photographer? Her name is Euphemia Eleanor Baker. That's right, that really was her name. But everyone called her Effie. Effie was unusual for a woman of her generation. She trained as a scientific photographer and became well known for her excellent photography skills. Then, in 1922, after she met the Dunns, her life was complete.
I found it! A religion that teaches science and religion in harmony. This is a faith I've searched so long to find. A faith such as this.
Effie was the second person and the first woman to become a Baha'i in Australia. As a young Baha'i, fate sent her to Haifa, the Baha'i World Centre. The reason was she had become sick with lead poisoning. I bet you can't guess how.
I love turning these photos, which are only in black and white. The colourful masterpieces. It's just a bit of paint. I get so absorbed in what I do. I can't be bothered with the water. It's so much easier just to lick them. You think this is strange? Lots of us did, you know. But I'm feeling so tired these days. I wonder what it is.
In those days, paint had one toxic ingredient in it. You guessed it, lead. Effie became quite ill, so the Dunns decided she needed a change of scenery. And it was off to Haifa she went, where she met Shoghi Effendi, the guardian of the Baha'i faith. Noticing her excellent photography skills, Shoghi Effendi invited her to take photographs of all the Baha'i holy places and shrines throughout Haifa and Persia. Traveling as a Caucasian woman and alone was dangerous, so she would often disguise herself. Traveling as a Caucasian woman and alone was dangerous, so she would often disguise herself in a chador to visit these places.
Science and religion. I love them both, and now I am at ease. A religion that nurtures love and growth, both mind and heart appease. In Haifa scenes of Joe bides, the guardian gently guides me. I travel over dangerous grounds. My skill Photography. My body wrapped from head to toe, I find each holy place, and capture in the camera's glow where holy ones did pace. First woman in Australia to find this precious faith. May many more find joy and cheer as they these truths embrace.
Slowly but surely, Baha'u'llah's teachings on unity started to reach more hearts in Australia.
Dejected that my actions are not bearing fruit, I remember these words of Abdul Baha, and I think of Mother and Father Dunn, who came to Australia 100 years ago with nothing to their name and not one Baha'i in the country. Abdul Baha said, "Lift up your hearts above the present and look with eyes of faith into the future. Today the seed is sown, the grain falls upon the earth, but behold, the day will come when it shall rise a glorious tree, and the branches thereof shall be laden with fruit." Let me introduce my friends Maha and Izzy, who have a special tale to tell of how they connected in 2020 to Mother and Father Dunn.
Oh my God.
I'm Maha.
And I'm Izzy. My parents are Yoli and Farzan, who are somewhere in the audience. My grandmother is Patricia, who is also in the audience.
Let us share our own family story of the seeds planted so many years ago. Mother and Father Dunn spent many years teaching the faith back in 1923 in Western Australia. They touched many hearts, and one lady whose heart they touched and shared the faith to was our great-grandmother, Beth Honeyborn. She became a Baha'i, and the rest is history, our history.
Who could know that the seed planted so many years ago would flower and take root? Now generations to come in our family will give honour to Mother and Father Dunn for obeying the call of Abdu'l-Baha. How true is it that we are all spiritual descendants of this remarkable couple?
One seed so tenderly is sown, and see how gloriously it's grown. Can we, alive now, not take heart to know we too can play a part? Our love and faith are meekly shared, so no one too poor should be spared. Who knows when it will then take root, resulting in abundant fruit.
When Abdu'l-Baha promised that those who arose to take the message of hope and love to faraway places would cause the pillars of the earth to reverberate, it was not a promise made lightly. From the efforts of two humble souls, Australia now has thriving communities from shore to shore. Children's classes learning about virtues and love. Junior youth groups learning how to serve humanity. In neighbourhoods and cities around Australia, we have devotional meetings giving glory to God. And study circles, where we learn how to walk along a path of service together.
passed away in 1941. Mother Dunn continued to live a long and fruitful life, serving on her own, a woman of strength and courage. She passed away 19 years later in 1960. So powerful was the love and service of these two that they were each appointed to the station of the Hand of the Cause in 1952. The highest honor that Baha'i can attain. Today we pay our final homage to our spiritual parents, whose example stands unmatched in this century. Mother and Father, you live in our minds and our hearts and our deeds, in communities raised in our will to do better as we care for humanity's needs. But our efforts fall desperately short, and we know than the standard you set for us all. Yet we strive and we work as we see the cause grow. No effort too small. The pillars of the earth, they reverberate still with your goals and your hopes and your aims. Yep, you followed unswerving God's plan and His will. Australia, you set it aflame!
This generation will continue to sow the seeds and reap the results. We live in Australia. Most Australians are not aware that very early in our country's history, a gentle, courageous couple left their home in the USA and came to Australia, where they taught about unity and oneness well before this was a reality in Australia. So let us celebrate the diversity and oneness we know today in Australia with this famous song.
Wow, cool.
brand new day. The verses have been cheaply adapted for our performance. Change our way, it's not too late. Work for peace.